And then there's betrayal, the shadow that haunts marriages everywhere. When cheating happens, it's often seen as the ultimate sin, the breaking of vows, the end of trust. And yes, it can destroy relationships. But here's the complicated part. Sometimes people stay. Sometimes they forgive. But forgiveness doesn't always heal. I've seen partners who, after forgiving, carry silent resentment that lingers for years. They say they've moved on, but deep down, something died. And here's the paradox. That resentment can eventually lead them to cheat later, almost as if to balance the scales. Which brings us to the age-old question, is once a cheater always a cheater? The truth is, not always. People cheat for different reasons. Sometimes because the relationship is toxic or abusive, sometimes because they're searching for something missing in themselves, not their partner. But if the root cause isn't addressed, yes, the cycle often repeats. Marriage, as an institution, rarely prepares us for this complexity. It gives us rules, but not the tools. It tells us cheating is wrong, but it doesn't teach us how to actually rebuild intimacy when betrayal happens. So where does that leave us? If marriage is heavy with unrealistic expectations, haunted by betrayal, and too often driven by fear, what's the alternative? What does love look like when we take it out of the marriage box? And how are people redefining commitment on their own terms? So if marriage feels heavy, outdated, or even suffocating for some, the next question becomes, what replaces it? Here's the truth. Love doesn't need marriage to exist. Commitment doesn't require a certificate. And intimacy doesn't need society's approval to feel real. We're living in a time where people are experimenting with new ways of building relationships. Some are choosing lifelong partnerships without marriage. Some are embracing co-parenting without being romantic partners. Others are exploring open relationships or polyamory. And some, quite boldly, are choosing to stay single, not as a failure, but as an empowered choice. These paths may sound unconventional, even controversial. But so was the idea of marrying for love a few centuries ago. What's radical today may be normal tomorrow.